Well, hello there, humans, hippies, earthlings, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and whoever you're lucky enough to be doing it to. Don't I sound a lot less loud and raucous than usual? That would be because I was in Minsk with these clowns here, the boys from Legion, and we were rocking and rolling. From the Delta to the DMZ at the Twister Cup 2017. I had a great time. Everyone had a great time. However, I did spend about 6 hours behind the golden microphone, screaming my guts out with excitement and joy. And it's probably about 3 hours longer than I thought the thing was going to go on for. So an increase of 100% in mic time results in a whole lot less voice when you've got a cold. So I'm just recovering from that. I literally landed in Sydney first thing this morning. I think I was the last bloke to get back home after the big event. Obviously, I went from Minsk to Frankfurt, from Frankfurt to Bangkok, from Bangkok to Sydney, with a lot of stopovers and a lot of time in travel. That means I haven't really had a lot of time to do stuff. This is the super secret training session I ran for the boys from Legion. Talked them through the paces. I made them earn it here in a 1v7 against my Mighty Mouse with the Wargaming extra bouncy camo on. And I think this is probably the reason they had the intestinal fortitude to stick with it and beat the much fancied boys from C4. I want to take my hats off to everyone who did play in the Twister Cup. You boys from C4 know I love you. You guys from Premo, EHR, Legion, everyone I met was an absolute joy and a pleasure to be around. And the guys at Wargaming did a really good job with this event. They looked after everyone involved like silkworms. No one went hungry. No one had any strife getting around the joint. There was shuttles, there was hotels, there was breakfasts, there was dinners, there was development days, there was group training sessions, aqua aerobics in the pool. Everyone went out and had a run together. It was all just super exciting. Obviously, I led the team on the 5K jog, put up some very, very good 5K times. Everyone was super impressed. What am I going to show you today? Well, it's me on the Russian server. I've always wanted to play on the Russian server, and I did get the opportunity. Now, the ping is a little bit dodgy at times because it is media day, and that means there is about 28 high-toned humans playing Blitz in one little room while they wait for their opportunity to go and get mediated up, either with a photo shoot or a bit of a live fire interview. I jumped on the Russian server, played a few games in the 183, played a few games in the Object 268, indeed played a few games in the Mouse, but the real joy of it was running around in my beloved T62A. Now, this is obviously a bit of a joke game. We were just killing time in the waiting room, and the Legion boys said, Bushka, jump in a Mouse and we will wreck you in tier 4s. Didn't happen. I actually got across the line in this one. Then we had to go at tier 5s, and they all drove. What tank did they drive at tier 5? I can't remember. It might have been tier 6s. No, they drove Angry Connors. That's right. And they were able to pen my sides with the Angry Connor. Cranky grubs, and they gave me a absolute flogging. Now, the 62A went really well for me on the CI server. RNG being what it is, I had a very, very good run and had like a 25 game win rate of 80-something%. Handed it over to Blast from Legion, and one of the boys, might have been Folman or a Stolfo from EHR, and they dropped me down to 67% over about 32 games. I'd like to think it was because I'm so good. The secret may in fact be that they were driving with my crappy control layout, and I watched this as Blast was trying to shoot people. The button just would not be where it was meant to be. They play weird too. They have their fingers in like a little claw, so they've got thumbs on the controls. And then I was watching Ox and Blast and the boys play, and they use their pointer finger, their index finger, to open up the ammo switch area there, and sometimes even to hit the fire button. Really freaked me out watching them do that. And it's crazy. If you go and try and play on someone else's iPad with a different control setup, it completely blows your mind. Anyway, enough of this Mouse versus the 4. Let's have a look at the 62A vid. Now, this is me saying hello to people on the Russian server. I don't think they quite got my ahoys and my good games. I am pretty sure I know what noob is in Russian, They yelled it out often enough, but I played it in the right spirit, and you can see here, my good mate, in the 183 there. I think ZA is definitely ha, and there's some happy days. Lovely, lovely, lovely. I had a big conversation with Dragon Eden, Dragon Geddon. I always get his name wrong, from Premo. And he was saying how he doesn't particularly like the 62A. He thinks it's probably one of the worst mediums at tier 10. I adore the 62A now. I think I'm having more fun playing the 62A than I've ever had playing it previously. The changes to the gun have really encouraged me. It very much suits my playstyle. I'm quite aggressive these days, but I do like the ability to back off and have shots always go in when you're at range, or at least hit where you're aiming when you're at range more often than not. And the 62A now does that pretty much as well as any tank in the game. You can see what I'm doing here with just baiting shots out of this poor old IS-7. I'm having to bait shots out of him and not lose hit points, because basically they have 5 tanks and we have 3 tanks, and they're starting to come from all over. I'm going to show you a couple of games. One of them is a game on mines, and then I've got another big game on canal that was a lot of fun. Oh, hang on. It's a random object on 40. You can see there's a bit of a weird ping thing where it's jerking around. It's a bit slideshow, but that only happens in a few of the games. For the most part, it was pretty solid and pretty above board. We did very well running on the Russian server. I had kind of got a thing in my head that everyone on the Russian server was going to be a unicum, and that everyone was going to be amazing. I really don't think there's a huge difference across the player bases on the servers. I think the Russian server probably has more good players, because obviously there are a lot more players on the server, but conversely, there are just as many people who are struggling to make up the numbers on the Russian server as there are on any of the other servers. I have no idea what these people are saying, because I'm just a poor English-speaking human who, it must be said, needs to make a much greater effort to learn how to speak Russian, because it would help me tremendously in my work, since 99% of the people I deal with at Wargaming are natural-born Russian speakers. No shots there on the 54E1s. This is one of my favourite spots to go to. It was also really, really exciting to have certain metas on certain maps that were different, and it was just fun because of that. Like this 54E1 and his mate, I saw a lot of 54E1s, hey. They really like them. Look, there's 2 54E1s over here on our side, and I think they've got a T54E1 as well, maybe. But the metas were very different. People went to slightly different areas and did slightly different things. You can see the red team here aren't giving their hit points away. Both our 54s are in really aggressive positions. Sorry, I just landed this morning. I'm absolutely shagged, but I've got to get some tanking up. It's all pictures of my head on the front page of the YouTube channel. No one wants to see that. It's very, very uninteresting. It's very, very ugly. Now that 215B, I'm just waiting for the right spot, hey. And this is what I love about Blitz. It feels like I've been waiting forever, and like that I'm doing the wrong thing. But we're only 1.5 minutes into the game. It's just Blitz is like tank Tourette's, honest to God. It's very, very hard to play PC after playing Blitz, because people just kind of absolutely go berserk in PC. A little bit of a lag out there, but anyway, we're back. You can see the ping though, like when it's working, sub 100 ping, gee, that makes me happy. It's very, very exciting stuff. This 103 does all right here. He's in between a rock and a hard place. I don't know how that's just a critical hit. That didn't even break the track, didn't do any damage. I'm doing a little bit of a side hug with my old 62A, side huggy mix, side huggerson. And then the 183 decides, yeah, that'll be enough from you. Just let's finish this business. Back to 3 on 4. Love it. Pushing up. You're going to see some fantastic lack of gun depression in a very, very wee short while. He's saying something about me. I don't know what he's saying, whether he's saying I'm rubbish. Look, if I had to put money on it, I'd say that he's saying the 62A is an absolute clown and he doesn't know what he's doing, and he wouldn't be far wrong. Here you can see the 62A in its worst possible environment. There is no gun depression going on there. I'm hoping that they'll come around, and then I see my mate in the 215B there. The E100 is doing the right thing. Oh, there's the dog. Manu's very excited by how this E100 is looking as well. I'm unspotted, obviously, by the 215B, so I get to put a free shot in there. Oh, my God. This dog has to be kidding himself, right? I don't do a video all month. Manu, you grub! Stop it! I'm sorry. I don't know what these guys are saying. The 54E1, God only knows. But I'm willing to take one from him. That's at least 2 out of the clip. He might have one left. If he doesn't, he's going to back up. I don't think he does. So I'm just going to keep peppering him. We're 3 on 3. They've got a 183, so I really want to make sure that that tank is in front of me, the 210E3. There's the IS-8. I'm figuring the 183 is up there somewhere. So I just keep a nice even keel between me and that 54. But there's the 183 around the back, in fact. So I'm going to leave the E100 to deal with the IS-8. I'm going to duck across the back, get stuck into the 183, bounce off the butt. The lovely butt. And then I'm just going to roll up and get very, very lovely and aggressive here. Yes. Naked tank. Now, for those of you that don't know, Mike 8 actually drove this iPad in the Twister Cup. So my iPad came third. And not only did it come third, which was fantastic, but it's now competed in 2 Twister Cups. My iPad came fourth in New York. And then Mike 8 drove it hard to third in Minsk. So hopefully next year I can get someone on the second place getting team to use my iPad. And that way I can keep climbing the world rankings and slowly move on up. Going to show you one more game. I'm sorry if this is not the most dynamic video I've ever done for you humans. I don't think you can understand just how jet lagged and screwed I am. But people have made the point that the YouTube channel is currently just a sea of my video blog face. And as such, it really needed some content. So talking about the 62A and just a general giggle is pretty cool. I'm going to be doing a full Twister Cup video with all the behind the scenes stuff that people didn't see, as well as a little bit of a nostalgic chat and a look along the lines of what it meant for the community, why I think it was so successful, what I think they did really, really well, which, you know, no surprise, and how it represents a big sea change for Blitz, for all of us really, in the way wargaming handle the dissemination of information, i.e. Upcoming patches, changes, buffs, nerf, all that kind of stuff. Up until now there has been a particularly, well, there's been a prevalence towards leak sites and things, but I mean, if wargaming are telling you what's coming, that's going to be a whole lot less exciting, and I think people will probably move away from that. I don't know that that's one of the reasons they're doing the open door policy that they appear to be doing at the moment. Yeah, who can say? Not me, that's for sure. So this game is pretty cool because I take it very easy at the start, but you're going to see a few shots from the 62A that are pretty cool. I think this gun is, well, you can now run all the bells and whistles in this tank and get it down to .261 dispersion with a 2.7 second aim time, 320mm nearly of heat pen, which is very much like the old heat pen of the 62A. All you got to do is run all those gun power stats all the way down the right hand side of the first column on your equipment list, and you will come up absolutely tickety-boo. Now the big part that I struggle with the 62A, or I used to struggle with a lot, is that angling it up correctly to get bounces, and I get very lazy here in a second. Rather than working the angles, I just drive away, and that's why I get hit. What I mean by that is, because the 62 only has 5 degrees of gun depression, if you drive forward up that hill, you're going to lose gun depression, but you keep your angle so you don't get penned. You get a bounce like I did at the start. But rather than lose the shots or drive out sideways, I drove kind of backwards, which means it was very, very easy for me to get the shot off on the PTA, but the PTA turned around and actually shot at me, which I wasn't expecting, and that meant he could very, very simply get a shot into my unprotected sides. So you've got to be very careful when you're driving a 62A that you can still get shots off, because it doesn't have great gun depression. And you're going to see that care really comes to the fore towards the end of the game when I start focusing in. One of the things I do cop a lot of is I'm quite haphazard at times with my gameplay, because for the most part it's about entertaining. But when you knuckle down and focus in, most people can generally perform better than they do, you know, in the main. And I like to think that, especially with a tank like the 62A, when you start focusing in and really giving it all of your power, all of your love, all of your affection, you can get things going on. Now, again, that's why I'm going long around the flat part here. You've got to get used to driving on the flat surfaces with the 62A, because if you don't, you end up killing your gun depression. When you go up a hill or down a hill with the 62A, you've got to be very, very careful. And you're going to see here there's a bat chat that comes around the corner. I'm angled up towards him, but I'm pushing down just so I can make sure I can get the hit. A little bit of lag there. Just unfortunate. It's one of those things that happen. And it's a 1 versus 3 ski, which is a little bit of a worry. This STB now, I need to track. You're going to see I go for tracking shots on 2 of these tanks. I also do something very, very sneaky here. I drive over the hill after being unspotted. And that means it gives me 2 hills to track tanks on. There we track the 57 Heavy. And then we're going to work around here at the STB. So that's kept the 57 Heavy away. And then I'm going to track the STB as he comes over the hill. So he can only really get a shot in on me there. And then I'm using the STB, hit him through the drive wheel again. And the 57 Heavy had to push there because he needed to get that last shot in. But he's now probably on his last round, if not on a full reload, and we take him out there. So that was a part of the game that I was really actually quite proud of, because that was a that was a big win there for Mind Over Matter. That wasn't so much the tank, it was the fact that I gave myself that extra bit of terrain to work with after I'd cleared waivers, after I'd cleared my camo. What I'm doing here, the reason I'm going up the top of the hill, is it's going to mean that the grill's not going to get a lot of time on target. Why? What do I mean by that? Well, as he pushes over, I'm going to try and push the other way, and that means he's only going to have a very, very small amount of time to actually get a shot off, and he's firing HE, and we get the lucky absorb and the kill. So that last shot was kind of the lucky one, but we worked for it. We got a lot of bling, hey. Kolobanovsky, high cal, pulls, mastery badge, all the stuff, those 2 other medals on the end, 4,500 damage, 3,394 spare parts, and just under 1,500 XP, which is good. Good. There you go. That was our journey through love, lust, and affection on the Russian server. I hope you enjoyed it. Lots more to come this week. We've got so many videos to do. We're going to be doing flat panzers. We're going to be doing Stuggies. We're going to be having a look at the Sherman Firefly and lots of other things. We're going to talk about the wargaming changes that are coming up. We're going to have a look at a retrospective on the Twister Cup. We're going to be doing lots of videos. So keep your eyes peeled, amigos. Keep them very, very peeled indeed. We're going to be doing live streams too. Hope you like it. I'm Bushka on Blitz. You're the humans. Thank you for supporting me all the time. Without you, I wouldn't have got to Minsk. Simple as that. You guys are the reason that I'm living the life I'm living. So give yourself a pat in the back and be nice to each other. Stop being clowns on forums with all salt and crankiness. Till next time, stay safe. Battlefield.